What's going on, everyone? Hello, hello, hello. How are you all doing out there? Thank you so much for tuning into another great, epic episode of Just My Opinion Reviews. Guys, we are talking Shogun or Shogun, Season 1,
So
Episode 3, titled Tomorrow is Tomorrow. After Blackthorn survives a brazen assassination attempt, Toranaga realizes he must ferry his allies out of Osaka or risk certain death or a certain defeat, excuse me. Guys, I want to let you know that this is going to be a spoiler filled recap, okay? Me and my lovely guests, we are going to spoil this episode up, down, left, right, in, and out as if you've already seen it. That is your warning. And like I said, my goodness gracious, I am joined again by Miss Kimberly Curran from Southern California. Ma'am, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. It's rainy out here. We got crazy rain. I know you out there, you got fire. Man, the world's on fire, but you know what's keeping me at peace? Shogun.
Yes. I love it. I love it. That's what's up right there. Yeah, man. Thank you for being here, Kim. I really do appreciate it. I'm excited to talk about this episode with you. And guys out there, when you're watching this, if you love what me and Miss Kim have to say, you can follow both of us on social media. Also, her information will be in the description box of this video. And here is her channel as well that we're going to be talking about a little bit towards the end of this video recording. But man, go ahead and show this lovely lady some support and give her a subscription. But Kim, let's go ahead and jump into this. This show is fire. Everyone's talking about it up, down, everywhere, and I don't blame them because it's great. Episode 2 ended fantastic with the secret assassin who Mariko said, hey man, some of these assassins, they were trained their entire life for just one kill. It's a high price.
One
And
kill. One kill.
I think that's what happened here. This assassin that was part of the maid's crew has been chilling with Toranaga for a minute, just waiting for her people to call on her like a secret cell, sleeper cell, excuse me.
Society of the Amida.
Right. An evil sect, as Miss Mariko put it, and she was unsuccessful, thank God. But they're still coming after. They're still coming
She
after
still threw down though.
Yeah, she did. She
She
took
stood
about
on business that whole time. She was like,
yeah,
and you're in my way, and you're in my way. I was like, dang, girl.
yeah. And people continue to switch sides. I mean, who can we trust Yabashuge? He's going back and forth to Toranaga, then he's going back and forth to Ishido. Where is he gonna end up at the end of this series? I don't know whose side he's really on, and we can trust him. And I'm really listening to you more and more. What you're saying, he's a bitch. I don't think those are your exact words, but I think that's what you meant. But let me give it to you. How did you feel about this episode? Is it still meeting or exceeding your expectations? As far as I'm concerned, I'm highly entertained. I'm loving it. But where are you at on this episode 3?
I'm highly entertained. I love that they kept the seriousness, but I did chuckle quite a bit through this episode. Definitely more than episode 1 and 2.
Yeah,
I found my joy. I found my
yeah,
joy in the pocket over here, and I really am liking Toranaga more and more and more because this man, he knows what the game is. He knows what the game is, and he was like, unless Hiromatsui like ever betrays him, I don't think you'll ever hear this man say, I'm so shocked that so and so betrayed me. I'm so hurt that so and so betrayed me. He said clear as day to his son, oh son, you're so naive. This is a game about enemies and friends. That's all this is. And he's like,
yeah.
Dad, you want me to go over there with Yabushige? Like, obviously he's playing in Iroshido's pocket. Like, and he's like, I know, that's just the game. And I really respected that because I think throughout history and like a lot of historical movies, whether it's a political movie or different cultures or you see people fighting for power, and there's always that one person that's like, how do you not see all of the deception around you? Like, you've got to see that you're in this super high place of power and everyone's trying to get to your throne, and there's this naivete. I really respect that Toranaga's not naive about the game. He
Yeah.
understands the game, and I found a lot of humor in the way he played it too.
Yeah, I did too. I think they said that he learned that when he was 6 years old too, as well, when he got
He's been
traded.
playing games since he was a kid.
Right. Yeah. Him and Mariko are like this, but besides Huamatsu, that will betray him or possibly betray him, where you said that he may say, I was shocked by this. I think he'll feel extremely shocked if Mariko turns her back on him as well. I don't foresee that coming, but I think
He's
those are
always checking on her though. He's like, "Hey, how are you with your faith right now?" Like because he
well, that's
knows
true.
she's a devout Christian, so he is always. I think he wouldn't ask those questions if he wasn't certain. Like he's still like, remember this having another religion in Japan is new to them. So for those who are not Christians, are like, hey, how are you with the devotion? Are you still going to Bible study like every Wednesday? Are we still doing Sunday school before the service? Like, like, so to speak, like he still is checks up on her about like, how's your faith? Are you offended? Are you challenged? Is this you go deeper in your faith? Are you stepping away? Because that's cool too. I mean, so I think there's always that too, though.
Okay, I see where you're coming from. I'm not mad at that argument. I still think that she's a bit loyal. She just hasn't shown as much. She just hasn't been around that long as Haramatsu. But I think
Mhm.
she's good though, or Hiromatsu. I think she's good though. But that's very observant of you. You're right there. I also do agree with you. This episode was quite funny, especially at the beginning where the engine, the barbarian Blackthorn, is trying to tend to his wounds, and he's calling the dude a warlock, the doctor that's trying to help him out. Just kind of his commentary right there. I gotta laugh at. Also, just the back and forth between Blackthorn and Rodriguez as they're screaming at each other on the ships. He's making sex.
Oh, your mom. That was hilarious.
Yeah. I got a lot of laughs out of them too. I wasn't expecting that during such a high intensity, high tension moment. Them trying to escape the harbor and escape out of Osaka, and it's just crazy. I mean, these are grown men and women that are being held hostage in Osaka, and Ishido just he's up on his little man-made throne trying to dictate everything. I know that you're the leader of Osaka and Toranaga is the leader of Edo, but it's just a nerve for you to come in and just like, no, I want to approve and the way he tries to frame it, like, oh, we need a day's notice before you leave the castle, just so I can show my respects. Like, come on, man, you're
This
just a
guy
little,
is the homeowners association. Like he is the president of the HOA. Like
yeah,
he's that guy that's like, seriously, you're gonna measure my flag? Get away from me.
yeah. Even but I want to share this though. Even before that, I feel really sorry for Fuji. Because her
Oh
husband
man.
was running his mouth and doing episode 1, and not only did he have to commit was it Kimpuko or Kimputsu? I forgot the exact pronunciation of them having to sacrifice himself, but had to kill the baby too, the newborn. And she is looking over the remains of her dead husband and child, and just kind of have to endure that. That's just so wild to me that that's just accepted at during this part. I don't think that's accepted in Japan today, or at least I hope not. My goodness gracious. But man, for them, for that just to be normal life, if somebody just speaks out of turn, not only that to kill yourself, but your only child,
Baby
that's
man.
that's horrible. Like, I felt really sorry for her. I mean, where are you on that too? I
I
mean,
this is her origin story, man. This is her origin story. I got to be honest. In the beginning, I thought she was just going to be a side character of like, oh, this guy spoke out of turn. This is his wife. This is the baby's mother. It's important to show her. But it turns out her father was a samurai, and I actually I didn't realize till this episode the connection that she's Hiramatsu's granddaughter. I didn't make that connection in the first
mhm,
two episodes, and so I'm like, oh, that's his granddaughter. But I love the story he told of how he and his son, her father, they were like bad arse samurai on the field, kicking ass and taking names. Like she comes from a lineage of badassness. So,
Mm.
and the way he kind of knows, like, this woman, like, she needs purpose. And it seems like this is a theme amongst the females in the show, that they live for purpose. Whether it seems that it starts out that their purpose is to serve. Purpose is to serve your husband. Your purpose is to serve your government. Your purpose is to serve your family. So they made kind of a big deal out of that in that first episode when she said, "You're taking." She didn't even actually say, "You're taking away my son." She said, "You're taking away my purpose in life."
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that's interesting that Hiramatsu is like giving her a purpose. I saw an origin story built brewing when she was grieving, and he was like, "Your father was a great samurai, and now it's time for you. I want you to go with us to is I think it's Aikido.
Ajiro?
Where are they going? Ajiro, thank you. Ajiro, I want you to go with us. Like, not just to get out of town, but it's time for you to step it up." I kind of felt like that conversation between her grandfather and her was like, "I'm sorry, but hey, you do purpose. It's time for you to step it up. We're making moves, and the moves we're making, everybody could lose their life. We've got to take a stand, and I want you to be part of this."
Yeah, yeah. And they kept showing the shots of the swords, the samurai swords and how that was passed down.
Mhm.
They was war, having war in Korea. I know that comes up at another point, if not already in the show. I kind of want some
Mhm.
backstory on that too, like what exactly they was fighting for. What
Mhm.
was the reason, who was right, who was wrong. But there's a lot of history there, and I like how you said that as far as the origin story of Miss Fuji. But I felt very sorry for her, and I'm pretty sure that we're going to see a
Yeah,
lot of her. And just look at, I'm loving just the whole set and just the details and the floor
isn't
and
it
all those
detailed?
lines, just the costumes. This is just amazing to
The
me.
way they are with their garments. I noticed when Hiramatsu, when he sat down, when he was addressing Ishido at the end, and
Yeah,
those long. I wish I knew more about the costumes, but kudos to the designers and the set dressers and the set designers. Is now I'm going to research. I do want to know more. And his garment, just the way he stretched his arms out to get that fabric out of the way, it was just so regal and commanding. And
yeah.
it's those little details I'm really loving about the show. And like we talked about last time, the producers having Hiroyuki Sanada as a producer, he brought in so many actors in Japanese ancient culture of those feudal times to make sure they knew how to write calligraphy, they knew how to sit, they knew how to pour tea, to open how to open a door.
Mhm.
Basis, for in the 1600s, how they would do it to here. It was the little details like that that I just am really loving with this show. It's very rich.
Yep, yep, yep. You're 100% right on that. Like the way that he, threw out his garment, put his knuckles down, and the way they bowed, and the angle and the arching of the back, the way the
Beautiful.
head is tilted. All of that is, I mean, you can tell they did that homework and was like, look, we got to get this right. We definitely have to
Yeah.
get this right. Something else I kind of skipped over it just at the very opening scene, when Toranaga was talking to Yubishige. And he said, "Hey, I heard that Ishido visited your house yesterday. What did he want? What did he offer you?" No, excuse me. And he was like, "He offered your seat on the council." He's like, "Oh, did that interest you?" He know that he did. I don't know. Yubashige kind of gave a deep sigh and was like, "No, it didn't." He was like, "Well, I know you want something. What do you want?" He was like, I wanna increase my fief, my salary. I
Mhm.
want more of
Mhm.
Saraga, I think was the name of the body
The
of land.
province, yeah, Saruga Providence,
There you go. Thank you.
Suruga, Suruga.
Thank you. Thank you. It just kind of goes back to where you're saying, Taranaga and the show just saying that, talking to his son towards the end, you playing these silly games of friends and enemies. It's just like, look, I'm just using everybody to kind of get what I want. I don't trust nobody. This is who
3D
you
chess,
are.
just like you said.
Yeah, yeah. And so he knows what he's like. What do you want? He was like, well, if you do this or you don't do this, you can have that body of land. I just need you to get the barbarian, the engine out of Osaka, and also Kiri no Kata. during the next scene, which we'll talk about as well. And so I just kind of had to shed some light on that because Toranaga just showed no emotion. He knew what it was. You know,
He knew what it
he knows
was.
how to articulate and communicate, and make sure that he gets his point across, and just kind of makes him a fantastic lead. And I'm glad he's at the head of this show right now.
Mhm,
But
mhm.
right after that, though, before Ashido comes, they have created this trickery, this plan
I love that
for him
plan.
to escape out of Osaka, and I love it. I didn't see it coming. I did not see it coming. I thought
I
the
had
the
to
one,
rewind. I was like, wait a minute, wait a
yeah.
minute.
Yeah, she's one of the ladies is pretending that's pregnant, is acting like she's having some contractions, while they're pulling the old banana in the tailpipe, snake move, the smoke screen, sneaking out and sneaking in. I'm like, oh snap, and half of the people didn't even realize what was going on until after the fact. So I just thought that was
Love it.
brilliant. I loved it. Just also like even when the Shido's men came in, and so they're in Osaka, of course, which Ashido is the head of. But I guess Toranaga had his own area that was assigned to him because he had his own guards at the gate. But when Josen came through, part of Ishido's men, they're holding up their spears or whatever weapon it is, and they just kind of muff them out the way. I'm just like, oh my goodness gracious, like this hierarchy of power right here. That was interesting to me. I did like that. It looked like Ishido got in a stance and he was about to pull out his sword or something to attack when they was opening the doors to verify who was in those little crates. I know it's not really called a crate. I don't know the Japanese for that.
Palanquin. I think it's a palanquin
Oh, okay. Well, thank you. There you go. That's why I
where
bring you on.
you carry the women on the shoulder and they sit inside, which I'm like, first class, luxury, yes, please.
Yeah, and it
They
makes
should bring those back.
yeah, not only so they won't have to walk through all of this terrain, but also protection from bandits that come through later on. But
Yes.
it was interesting. It looked like Ashita was about to throw down, but no, they was pulling snake moves and snuck Hiro no Kata out, and then
Yeah, that was
Toranaga
crazy.
in, and I really did like that. But as you said, the tension was high, and I did get a laugh out of the theatrics that Blackthorn was screaming at the top of, this is an outrage. Oh my goodness. You cannot leer at a
That
woman.
was
Yeah.
that was my spot. Like that was such a great moment right there. Like, this is my dude. Okay, Blackthorn, I'm liking you more and more
Yeah.
and more. And when he said, and your hair looks like a bunny's tail. And I was like, oh, I was like, oh wait, okay.
Yeah.
That was such a great moment. But the way he's like, Blackthorn is he's I'm I'm not lost in how desperate he is for this to work because it was
Mhm.
such a gamble for him to leave England like that. Because he's not a pirate per se.
Right.
He's an opportunist. He's not necessarily a pirate. He's not a merchant. He's a guy that got a hold of some journals and was took the opportunity. It's like he kind of is that guy that's saying, "Why not me? Everybody discovering new land. Why not me?"
Right. Right.
And he's desperate to do this, to get this done. So
Mm-hmm.
he's like, I'll help you. He's proving himself more and more and more. He's proving like, look, we're kind of it's kind of a we're all in this together kind of thing. I'm a part of this now, so I'm gonna lay myself down too.
Yeah. Make the best out of it,
Mhm.
And he's just trying to show his worth. He doesn't want to just,
Yeah.
sit on the sideline and just like, hey, I'm not going to do anything to help contribute to this situation. Like you said, I'm a part of this. And so I got to pull my own weight too. And he definitely does that at the end. And, Rodriguez gave him the look of respect, which, we'll talk about that. But even before that, how do you feel about Rodriguez and his conversation that he was having with the captain of the black ship at the early on? Like, the captain's like, look, I don't need the permission from Toranaga to leave the coast. And Martine is trying to tell him, like, look, man, if you do this without permission, you're going to ruin our relationship for the future. He's like, I got 1 million ducats and I'm not going to miss this land. We are leaving tonight. Make it known. And he goes out. and talks to Rodriguez, and was like, this Anjin, this barbarian, is causing a lot of troubles. And we know. I guess, yeah, I answered my own question. Rodriguez doesn't like Blackthorn or respect him, because he was about to attack him on the boat and realized that he was a pirate. But I don't know. Can he be trusted as well, or do you like him? I know you don't like Yabushige. I know you love Toranaga, but how are you feeling about the captain and Rodriguez at this point?
Honestly, I'm beginning to see that Rodriguez and Blackthorn are the same person. They're in the complete same boat. They
Okay.
are the token outsider that is gaining just enough trust to survive another day. Because they killed his man in that big pot of broth with the quickness. They didn't blink twice about making some man soup, okay? And so the fact that these foreigners, these outsiders, these barbarians are every 24 hours is a gift for them. And being able to learn the language and have some value to teach something, to come with some value as the outsider. It's like, look, outsider, if I'm going to let you live, you got to show me some value. So Rodriguez is a value as a translator. He's a value to have, coming through with his ways, wherever he's from and however they did things, and whoever he knows from his side of the pond. If they ever run into someone from his family or his tribe or his clan or his government, he could be of use. So I see that Rodriguez and Blackthorn, they're both in the same boat. And their attitude with each other it's that I'm the token outsider. Oh, now look, there can only be one of us. Don't bother me. I got something going. Well, don't bother me. I'm getting something going. Now Toranaga, he's changing my name and we're swimming. And you know what I'm saying? Like, they're both in the same exact spot. And so their hatred for each other is not necessarily a hatred. It's a, don't screw this up for me. We're both outsiders. We both came into this country not speaking the language. So he doesn't bother me that much, because to me, he and Blackthorn are just the same. It's just that he's on another side, or he's on whatever side puts money in his pocket.
Right. Okay. Now, I like that. Y'all let us know if you agree or disagree. But Kim is coming through with the fire commentary. And speak about fire, they're being attacked in the forest on their journey from Osaka to Edo or Ajiro. But before that, Kim, unfortunately, thank you, FX, for the opportunity to see this, but we're not blessed with subtitles, and I could not understand what they were saying, with Mariko and Blackthorn was saying when they was walking through the forest. First, I want to note that it does look like their relationship is blossoming. That especially Mariko is trusting Blackthorn a bit more. But again, when they're having this conversation, he's telling her, like, look, these merchants over here, these Christians, these men, you can't, talking about Martine and the father, like, you can't trust him. But she says something about relations. They're talking about each other's family. She's asking about his kids. He's talking about, is that your husband, Buntaro, over there? And she says something about the clouds in the rain. I didn't do you know what I'm talking about? I don't understand what that meant. And she was like, do you understand what I mean? And he was like, well, yes, I understand exactly what you mean. You don't have to break it down. I'm just surprised to hear that so politely from a woman, especially with her being married. That kind of flew over my head. Did you understand that or comprehend it fully?
I think they went back to the joke they made with the doctor, where he went from calling him a warlock to a pimp. I thought it was very funny, because unfortunately, as a translator, she was put in that position to translate and go. And actually, I think the doctor meant it to be sarcastic. Like, this guy's tense. He needs to get laid. But she translated and was like, he thinks you're stressed and you need to be with a woman or man, whatever. And he was like, what kind of country am I? So I think they were going back to that conversation when they were walking through the woods. Yeah, I think that's what it is.
Okay. Okay. Well, I guess I did understand it. Okay. I was just making sure.
Sorry, I'm going to sneeze.
I know.
Excuse me.
You're good.
Oh, excuse me.
Bless you.
Sorry, the rain here is kicking up all kinds of stuff.
You're good. You're good. But
But
man, go ahead. Go ahead.
but I no, I agree. I was thrown back in the sense of I thought my perception of Japanese culture is that like the way at least the show has portrayed husbands behaving towards their wives, in terms of women being able, like what you can say, what's appropriate to say to another man, that did surprise me because I didn't think from what I was seeing and learning that that would be appropriate to even have that conversation.
Makes
But
sense. Okay.
I mean, they did, but and she got to learn more about his family, and I was actually shocked to hear that he had a family.
Yeah, I was too. Had a boy and a little girl that he hasn't met yet, and so
Yeah,
that's
that's
that's quite
sad.
interesting to me. But what is even more interesting than that, Kim, is the Christians that are attacking the fleet from
Mm,
from the ridge, shooting flaming arrows. That's interesting to me. It's just because when you hear Christian, you kind of start to thinking about certain morals and values. But these are assassins on the cliff, on a ridge that's just trying to take out the barbarian because he's causing this. Look, what's his name? Ayama, that's part of the one of the regents, the guy in the red. He's clearly only in it for the money. This barbarian is messing up his money, messing up his profits, and this is the second assassination attempt that they're making. And then it's exposed that Toranaga is part of the fleet. And then you have three sides here. You have Ayama's men and he's on the Council of Regents, his men up on the cliff shooting down, and they call him Christians. But at the bottom, you have Taranaga's men with the Shido's men. They're defending themselves, but then they turn in each other when they found
yeah,
out
that was
that
weird.
is that they're escorting him or whatever. And Yabushige kind of turned sides all there at the same time, where it confuses Ayama's men up on the ridge. And so that was very entertaining to me. But what stood out the most is at first they were trying to play Mariko as a damsel in distress when the barbarian, when the engine, when Blackthorn was like, get out of here, let's go hide. But she's like, no, F that. When Toranaga pulled out his sword, she was like, we have to help them. And she got out there with that spear too and was just slicing them down. I was like, oh
Kimono
shit.
and she was so graceful about it. She was so gracefully throwing down. I was like, "Go ahead, girl."
Yes.
Looking graceful and just she threw down. She picked up that knife like it wasn't anything. And her husband too wasn't like, "Oh no, my wife is caught in this." He's like, "I should be all right. She can fight." Like,
Right.
like he wasn't trying to help her at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I thought that was interesting, but also it actually you mentioned something really interesting how people are labeled in this show of like the Christians. And it actually made me think of Jesus when he said, "Many will come in my name and lack the power thereof. And in the hereafter, they will say, Lord, Lord, we knew you." And he'll turn to them and go, "Turn away from me. I knew you not."
Right.
So just because somebody calls themselves a Christian doesn't mean that they are. And that's coming from, when I say a song, God, I kind of mean it. Like, like Jesus literally said that a lot of people will come and be like, "I'm a Christian too."
Yeah.
And if I ever looked them in the face, I would go, "I never knew you. You're not about me." So I didn't get offended, me personally as a Christian, when they're like, "The Christians coming to kill us." I was like,
So
yeah, yeah. Throughout history, many people have come in the name of Christ and lacked the power there, and the power being the love of God. They're not running to hand you Bibles. They're not running to be like, "But you didn't sign up for the potluck." Like,
right.
they're not running to minister to you. They're running to kill you. And those are Christians by name and not spirit. So I wasn't offended because
I love that.
unfortunately history is peppered with people who are Christians by name and not spirit. And Jesus himself said, "When I say wolves in sheep's clothing, this is what I'm talking about." So that's a historical truth. We saw it in the Crusades. We see it in colonization throughout the world. So I get it. I wasn't offended because I'm like, those are the ones that ain't getting it. Like,
I love how you phrase that. You know, they're Christian by name, but not the spirit. You know, because they're, you know, up there just trying to kill this guy because he feels they're ruining his profits. And the thing is, it's just crazy to
yeah.
me. It's like Ashido and Ayama are rubbing shoulders together in the same room, in the same on the same council of regents. And this man was like, "We can't attack them. Those are Ashido's men down there too." He's like, "Oh well, they'll die with a heretic." I'm like, "Golly!" And it's just wild to me, you know. Like he just didn't care,
It's
you know.
wild. And you know that was very I don't I really want to hear some behind the scenes, and I will be watching all of behind the scenes commentary I can. Um because you know Hiroyuki Sanada was in John Wick 4, and something very interesting was that amazing shot we from John Wick where they went with the aerial view of Keanu fighting, you know, and it went with that amazing aerial view where you could see the people walking down the hallways. And I'm curious, I saw that in this episode when they were headed towards the harbor, and they're like, the Christians, they're catching up. And then it went to this amazing aerial view, and all of a sudden you see these torches and
Yeah,
you see how close they're getting to the harbor. And I was wondering if Mr. Sonata was like, let's take a nod from John Wick, because that was such a John Wick scene right there. That was so
yeah,
funny. I
yeah.
loved it. It looked fantastic. The cinematography, it was a great shot. I love a good aerial shot. I love yeah, that was very cool.
I love your excitement level and enthusiasm describing it as
Yeah.
well. The geekism is coming out. That's what's up right there. But even
I was like,
before
John
that,
Wick!
you know, Buntaro, he was doing his thing with the sword as well. He was being an a-hole to his wife earlier, you know, saying we need to leave Osaka, and Mariko's like, I don't understand. It's not your job to understand. Like he just had to stick up his butt, you know, because you know she's doing her job, like Toranaga said, you know, he needs to do. But he did his thing with the sword, man. You know, I don't know, Kim.
He's an honorable warrior. Like she said,
Yeah,
he's a very esteemed warrior. He's not on the battlefield, he's not a punk, but I think something beautiful from the last episode I wanted to mention was it is it Kiri Kiri, yes, Toranaga's first wife. Um, their relationship was so precious. The way he talked to her was so cute, and it just showed me that during this time, the way Mariko's being treated by her husband, that wasn't every household kind of thing,
right.
because her husband's very cruel and jealous of her. But Tornado was so like, did you see like in front of in front of Mariko, he was like, she's like, but I'm just a slow old lady, and he's like, it's because you got a big ass. Like they
Yeah,
were like joking with each other, and she's
mm,
like, honey,
yeah,
don't say
yeah.
that in front of every. Like they were actually really cute, and
Hmm.
just the way she was like joking with him, it was like a in love couple for over 30 years. It wasn't like, yeah, this is my wife, you know, to be seen and not heard. So for
Right.
me, that proved that the history of this world, that I mean, look, there's some cultures where that's how it is. You are a woman, you will get beaten if you speak up. Her um her husband didn't need to be so mean to her.
He did
That was
not.
just a jealousy thing. But I have a question for you, Brandon.
What's up?
Do you think he's dead?
No, I
Because
don't.
the age old thing, if unless I saw a body, just like with a
Right,
Marvel movie, or if I didn't see someone get lowered into the ground, I don't know. I think he's presumed dead by Mariko and
right,
definitely by Blackstone.
right, right.
But I
Yeah,
don't know that we're
yeah,
not going to see him. What do you
yeah.
think?
I'm confident that he's not dead because I mean they gave him a nice send off for one. I like that he, you know, he knows how to fight.
Yeah,
He was taking them out one by one, having them come down the line, you know, so they couldn't surround him. So he knows what he's doing. He didn't take any
very
injuries.
brave.
They went out of their way to make him look like a badass. It was like, hey, y'all go, I'll catch up with you guys. And then he caught up with
Yeah,
him. And then he was surrounded by 3, 4, 5 men, and he still took all of them off, took all of them out, bowed to Toranaga. That was dope as hell. It was lovely. ran up there,
That was
but
beautiful.
he positioned himself to back himself down that corridor, and nobody could get behind him. It's like, the strategy of 300 or whatever, like, have them come down this narrow shaft, and you can't get surrounded.
Mhm.
And he didn't take one blow. And so no, I don't think he's dead at all. I think he may pop back up.
Because Blackthorn did give his condolences, but
Yeah.
prematurely, I believe.
And I like the fact that Blackthorn was like, look, we can't just leave him behind. We got to go get him. They're really trying to redeem his character, because they, at the episode, they made him seem like he was an evil pirate and, a lying and manipulating barbarian. But he keeps doing these things episode by episode, just showing how honorable he may be.
It made me call back to when Rodriguez fell in the water. I know you and I were talking about how we thought he was just playing the game. Like, he kind of was, because he was kind of like this Yabashige guy. I can already tell within 10 minutes I don't like him. I'm going to give him this rope. Why don't you rescue him? And he wanted him to die. But actually, it made me, the way he was with Mariko's husband, it made me think, you know what? Does he really carry this kind of honor amongst thieves kind of honor of, like, I don't care what situation I'm in, we don't leave a man behind. Like, maybe that's real.
Yeah, I think
I don't know.
I think it is.
Yeah, I think it might be.
Yeah. I'm not going to go as far as saying that he's my hero or anything like that, because they did deliver.
Show's not over yet, man. Yeah. Show's not over yet.
My bad. I'm clicking all types of stuff. My fault. my fault. But
the multiverse is glitching, bro.
Yeah. Sorry about that, y'all. But yeah, show's not over yet. We're gonna have to see. But I don't think that Bontaro's dead. I don't think that the jury is still out on the engine on Blackthorn. Also, on that same note, Toranaga clearly cared. Yabashige didn't. He's like, no, we're not turning around. No, and that's expected. I kind of wanted a bit more emotion from his wife, Mariko. She wasn't like, oh, baby, no. She was just kind of like, I guess it's your time to go.
But also, it's honor and dishonor, because just like when let me get his name. I don't want it. Tadayoshi. Even when he stood up to stand up for Toranaga, it's kind of dishonorable to stand up for somebody or speak out for how you feel about them in a certain way, because it kind of, what I'm getting from the show is it kind of makes it seem like I need your pity. And it's like, it is very honorable for a warrior to die a warrior's death. And so I think for her to cry out for her husband would have been dishonoring.
Really? Okay.
That situation is what I felt. I think she might have, however conflicted she is about his abusive, like, toxic behavior, and he's always gaslighting her and disrespecting her. I think what I kind of feel like I'm learning of this culture is that would have dishonored him to cry out for him and show pity. Because remember that when they were saying near the rocks, when Blackthorn was asking, look, he was holding his knife towards himself. What was up with that? And they were like, for a warrior, it is honorable to choose the way you want to die.
That's true.
And so I think that would have dishonored his decision, because he could have gotten the water and started swimming. Well, I don't know, but I don't know. I think it was more of a, he bowed. Look, he knew he was doing. He bowed at Toranaga. He eye contact and was like, I'm choosing this. You guys go ahead. And then he ran back up the ramp. So yeah, I think it would have been dishonorable to be like, no.
I got you. Okay. Good point. Transitioning from that, the captain of the black ship was very annoying to me with his arrogance.
I hate that guy.
Yeah, because when Toranaga was like, okay, I didn't give them permission to leave the harbor, to leave Osaka. I'm in a bind now. And so, hey, y'all ship is bigger than ours. Okay, so can we?
But if you're going to leave, I'm coming with it. You go, I go. Yeah. You leave, I leave.
Yeah. So he's like, the captain is like, hey, man, thank you for giving us permission that we didn't need. Okay. And the price has gone up, And I was like, you son of a bee,
I was like,
like,
he could cut your throat at any moment. I wouldn't get cocky, sir. I don't think you don't look like you could fight.
yeah,
Okay,
I don't
so
think so.
bring
True,
the arrogance down a little
true.
bit, bruh.
I'm pretty sure that in a fist fight or a sword fight, whatever, a Toranaga will come out on top by light years.
He kill you
But
so bad.
the captain will pull out that pistol on him too. So, I'm just saying, he got it on him. He got it on him. So he don't seem
Because
like
he
he
knows
above
he
the
can't
punch.
fight.
Yeah, that's true. But
I'd
they
be
don't give
like,
a
put the pistol down and let's fight man to
they,
man.
they don't give a damn about that. They don't they
No,
don't care about that.
way
So,
of the
but
colonizer.
you right though, but not Yabashige, but Toranaga offered him like, hey man, first of all, what I need you to do is I'll let y'all leave, but I need you to get the Ayami and Ono, two Christians that are part of the Council of Regions on our side because they
Yeah,
rubbing shoulders with Ishido, and I also give you a church in Edo. I would think
yeah,
that they
that,
would be like, oh, hell yes, let's make this exchange, let's shake hands. The father was like,
yeah.
oh, no, that's bribery. And the captain was like, that's still not good enough. Okay, I'll give you some silver. No, okay, I'll take that. But then you got to leave the engine here. And they gave him the notebook showing that he was a pirate. That was a tough bargain right there. I thought it would be, just easy. Hey, shake hands and we're done. But it was really 10 toes down with their pride. And it was like, we run the show, not y'all. You know what I'm saying? We don't need you. And so it ended up working out for everybody, but I was just really rolling my eyes over here. Do you feel the same or do you disagree? Where you at on that whole little
Yeah, I
debacle?
mean the negotiating, it's not just negotiating, it's that, and I mean I'm not a guy, but I can only speak to what I've seen in films and read, but it's the power. It's like the weak link that's like another situation you'd be pissing your pants. But because
Mm.
this powerful man is coming to you and coming to your level and reasoning with you and negotiating with you, now you want to act a fool and be like, oh, well, now that you need something, I don't think that's good enough. It's like,
Yeah,
he
yeah.
can cut your throat. Like, stop messing around, stop playing around. Because as you saw from Father Alvito, having a church, like getting permission to establish a church, what I'm learning from this show is that's helpful because you don't want to be against the Japanese people. You want to, you're trying to convert them, you're trying to be with them. So you're probably trying to negotiate for land for a church all the time. So for someone to give you a church in their big in Edo, which seems like a really big, successful place, you don't want to turn that away and be like,
Right,
oh no, it was he, like judging by his excitement, I'm like, this seems like it's something that's hard for these priests to come by. But
right.
again, Alvito is more, I think he might be more of a real man of faith because the other guy, it wasn't really bribery, it was negotiation.
Yeah.
So the other guy, high and mighty and religious, who I call a Pharisee, was like, oh, no, no, we can't take that. We can't take that. And he's like, dude, yes, we can. He's giving us land to build a church. Like, so I think it's just, I don't want to, it's a power play. It's a power play that might come to bite you. And I think something to remember about Blackthorn and the relationship with the Portuguese is right now, the Portuguese, the Spaniards, they're almost 20 years into bringing Catholicism to Japan. All it's going to take is one English ship where everyone didn't die to come over and be like, we're English. Any other English here that have made some good deals and relationships? I have. Blackthorn over here. I've made a great relationship with this Toranaga guy. And the English will come in and usurp the Portuguese in such a strong way. Because don't remember, Blackthorn is also a representative. He's not a formal ambassador or anything, but if any more English come, he's going to be friends. They're going to be friends and they're going to want to know, like, hey, what headway are you making here? And he's going to be like, look, this guy's super powerful. He changed my name. Like, I have a name of honor now. Like, we're kind of friends now. Like, I made relationships with different warlords. He's putting the English in a great position, not just himself. Because
Right.
remember, there are many ships at this time in the world. In the 1600s, this is when America was discovered. This was when so many places were colonized and discovered. So all it's going to take is a few English ships to come by, and Blackthorn is a way bigger threat than just a guy walking around that doesn't like to bathe.
Right, right.
'Cause he
Got to
was
think
not.
long term, man. The long game. I was about to make
Long
that
game.
point. But it's just like, dude, you're gonna want to come back. You're not want to listen to Martine, and he's like, we can't ruin the relationship, man. Stop this. Okay, like
Yeah.
just work together. But it ended up working out. I laughed my butt off though. Blackthorn was just looking at them sail away. He was like, man, F that. We are going too. Go ahead, hit the drums. Oh, let's go.
You go, I go. Yes. I loved that moment because they were headed towards those rocks, man. Because I actually at first I thought those rocks were other guys in boats. And I was like, oh no, like it's rocks. And he was like, just the desperation in his eyes of like, I have a 2-year-old daughter that I've never met because I'm here and I believe in whatever I can do here.
I didn't know that, Kim. Keep going. I'm sorry. My bad.
What?
When you said, I thought you were saying I thought you were saying that you had a 2-year-old daughter. I was like, well, I didn't know you had kids, but you're talking about Blackthorn.
No.
My bad. My bad.
No. I don't have kids. Jesus. Glory to God. No, I'm mostly talking about myself. No, but Blackthorn, like just the desperation in his face of like, oh, you're just gonna leave me behind as far as I'm come, and we're at the point where you're not calling me a dog or no. I'm getting somewhere with my goal. Like I went from a ship of 500 men to 5 men, one of which you cooked. Like I'm not giving up. Get bang the drum. Let's go. Yeah, I'm gonna die on the rocks. I might as well die trying. And everybody had mad respect. He could have been like, oh, you left me. Oh,
right.
No, you go. I go.
Somebody needs to put that on a shirt to bang the drum, or you go, I go. I would definitely wear that. My only little criticism about that scene is all of the fishermen that was blocking the view, the pathway. They had bows and arrows with them, and the people on the ship didn't seem to be concerned with getting shot. I don't know why they wasn't shooting at them either. But I don't know. Maybe they just didn't want to get ran over.
I don't know. I don't know if it was just a few fishermen thinking they could do something. Like this isn't Dunkirk. You're not gonna make that much of an impact, bro. I mean, they're in the dark. Like they thought they were gonna do like Ishido. It might have also just been Ishido, putting up whatever defense he could. And being like, and so let's get people in the water and let's get people at the harbor. Like, let's cover all our bases. I don't care if it makes sense or not. Let's get someone there. And when I tell you that ship crushed them, bro,
I
felt so sad. I was like, oh, your little boat.
Yeah. It was. I like. I don't know the technology as far as directing a ship, but they kept saying 5 points this way or that way. And the captain was like, you gave him the edge. And, Rodriguez's line, he already had the edge, but he was looking at him like, you know what? I respect you. You know what I'm saying? You weren't just going to bow down and die. You fought your way out of this. I'm going to let you make it. And so that was pretty cool right there. That was. But we got the next scene where Hasumaru comes through and was like, hey, just want to let you know, we talked about this earlier with the wardrobe bowing down. I got this piece of paper right here. We quit.
I love that moment.
and what I also found hilarious in the show, I don't even know if it's intentional, is Ishido is constantly losing, and the look on his face, his facial expressions of like, it looks like they did get through. And when Hasumaru comes through with the paper, he's just like, that it doesn't matter. This paper doesn't matter. We're going to impeach him. And it's like, well, before the taco died, he said that you need 5 regents to make a vote, and you only have 4. So Ishido was like, because I'm getting a lot of
I
laughs out of
love
this.
that bit.
Yeah. And not only that, Ayami and Shida were arguing before he came in there. Like, if you would have waited, I would have delivered Toranaga to you on a silver platter. And they're going back and forth. And so
I
it's just
told you
really
these
funny.
regions, it was
Yeah.
much to break them up because
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
all like, if Tycho hadn't died, we wouldn't be in this position. These are guys
Right.
that were so happy when that man died. Are
Yeah.
you kidding me?
Yeah.
They are all vying for Shogun. They're all vying for that seat. And
Yeah.
so they're playing chess as well. Like, yeah, I'll be in this little group over here because this works and we can vote this guy out. But after, even if they would have successfully gotten rid of Toranaga, like killed him. Now you four are going to start fighting because now we're down to one. And this ain't no boy band. We're not going in as a group. We're trying to get down to one man. So, they're playing them against each other. And I just love when he went in with that moment of like, actually, you don't have enough votes.
Yeah. Sorry, buddy.
How do you feel?
Yeah.
Like, that was a great moment. Yeah.
It was a great moment.
Because now it turns into a every man for himself situation. When the band breaks up, it turns into who can come out with a great single. And we're not all Justin Timberlake. So
I wonder if Ishido is gonna know that Ayami was trying to kill his men in the forest. I thought he finds out, but he cared less about it. Like, say, bro,
I don't know, because
that was interesting.
Because another thing is don't forget, Ishido didn't know that Yabushige didn't know about Toranaga.
True. Because he said he betrayed
remember,
him.
Yabushige was like, hey, next time you got a plan, you want to let me in on it? He had no idea.
Very true.
So in Ishido's eyes, he's like, oh, now it's me and you. Like, now we are not in any kind of partnership. You deceived me. And the conversation is, I didn't even know. And he doesn't know he didn't know.
Right. This is true. I forgot about that. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah.
So, we had this last scene right here, man. The barbarian gets promoted to Hatamoto, which is pretty honorable. It looked like he was scared, like Casper. When he's like, hey, man, these priests over here, they gave me these books about you. It's going to take a little time to translate it. And the thing is, Toranaga doesn't care. He doesn't care. The engine could be the devil to him, and he's like, well, he's still benefiting me, so I'm just going to overlook this and be like, yeah, they say that you're bad, and we have the proof right here, but it's going to take us a long time to translate it. So until then, why don't you teach me how to swim, buddy, and get a regiment and teach them all of your war tactics from the West or whatever. When they was calling him out, Blackthorn was looking like, oh shit, I'm out here by myself. They're gonna throw me overboard, but he promoted him. I know he wasn't expecting that. But how do you feel about it? The swim lessons that they went through? Looks like they're really
let me tell you something
between them.
I love that, and don't forget it was the diving lesson because Toranaga challenged him, was like, I'll swim you to the shore. He can swim. He just wanted to know how to dive. But I thought that moment was funny. I thought it was beautiful. I thought it was just a great reminder of like, this is not a white savior situation. Definitely. This is why certain countries have the history they have, because someone came in that was an outsider and taught us this, and now we do this. There is a beautiful synchronicity about cultures saying, teach me how you do this. Okay, teach me how you do this. How do you guys do this? How do you guys do this? There's something to be learned from each other. And I really thought that was a beautiful moment, because that was humbling for Toranaga to ask this, 5 minutes ago, he was a barbarian, to ask him to teach him to do anything. Because a leader, of course, you want to, I don't want to say it well. You want to seem like you can do everything. So I thought that was a really beautiful, cool moment where they were like, we're at the point where we need all the knowledge, all the strategy we can get, and let's just show each other like what we can do, and teach me how you do the diving thing. I thought that was a really cool moment. I love that he made him do it 30 times. That was hilarious.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
this is how civilizations get from one step to another many times. It's by not killing every outsider that comes in, but going, hey, I think we can learn from each other. And with that, I think that was a great way, that final scene. I thought that was really cool and beautiful, and that I think keeps with the spirit of Shogun. That this isn't about me, us. This is about like how can we come together as people who don't understand each other and come to a common understanding that brings us to the next level. Because now that he's out of Osaka and now that he's out of the Lord of Regents, I mean, the next step is getting his wife out because that's another issue. Like she's still there. So that's going to be interesting to see how she gets out of there, but I think like every episode, Brandon, the stakes get higher and higher because now that he's out of Osaka, it is on and cracking because we don't know what's at Ito. We haven't been to Ito yet, so we don't know what his army looks like. We don't know what other loyal servants he has. We don't know what other mining towns are like. We're not a part of you, but if it's time to go, like say the word, like let's go, like the stakes are just every episode. It just goes up and up. I'm loving this.
Yeah, I'm loving it too. Are those your final thoughts?
Those are my final thoughts, bro.
Love it, love it. I share your sentiment. The stakes are getting higher and higher with each episode. Not only was this entertaining, as far as the politics, the infighting, the literal fighting, and the comedy that we talked about, it's just another great episode, and I'm really, really loving this show. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that is going to wrap it up for me and Kimberly's Shogun episode recap titled Tomorrow is Tomorrow. Hopefully you enjoyed the episode as much as we did. But yes, down in that comment section below, let us know what you thought about the episode, your likes, your dislikes, if you loved it, if you hated it. Also, what you loved about our commentary as well. We will be back same time, same place next week for episode 4, The Eightfold Fence. And I cannot wait for everyone to see the next episode. It was a doozy. Kimberly, again, thank you so much for being here. If you love what we both had to say, you can follow us on social media. Her handle is on the screen as well as mine. Her information is in the description box of this video. And here is her channel tab as well. Subscribe. Kimberly, in 30 seconds, what can the people out there look forward to on your channel in 30 seconds?
Yeah, definitely. I've got some great content on there about volunteerism and the power of volunteerism. If you want to watch some of my older episodes on What's Good, Kimberly. I also have a new podcast coming called The Film That Made You ... where I'm talking to people who have been inspired by a film to make a major life change. And I want to talk to you guys. If you know anyone, if you have anyone in your life, your uncle, your friend, if that's you, whether you changed your major in school, you adopted a baby, you took up a new sport, took up martial arts, whatever it is that inspired you that came from a film, I want to talk about it on my podcast. So reach out to me, catch me on Instagram or my YouTube. And thank you so much. And last thing, you guys, let's get Brandon to 50,000 subscribers.
Yes, let's do that, guys. If you do, you're going to get movie reviews, spoiler movie reviews, series reviews, a weekly superhero live show, superhero comic book live show, weekly movie news roundup, and I'm covering Shogun. As you can see right now, I got my full non-spoiler review for the whole season, episode 1 and episode 2 with Kimberly Curran. This is episode 3, and like I said, we'll be back next week for episode 4. But guys, again, we just both want to thank you so much for tuning in. And I'm right there at 49,700. Help me get to 50K. But before you go, guys, don't forget that I'm B. Avery. That's Kimberly. And that's just our opinion. Peace out. And we'll see you next time.